timing of the cup. Tonight, we take you back to past moments of inspiration. And hockey forecasting enters the computer age, adding the stats, facts, patterns, and numbers for a computer's vision of the next NHL champion. Along with the wisdom of the hockey experts, as CBC Sports presents Stanley Cup 91, the Stars of Spring.
In the next 1 hour, you'll hear from Brett Hall, a series of special guests. We'll even go to a computer to try and handicap or to understand this quest for hockey's holy grail. And what better setting than this? The Forum, a building nestled in downtown Montreal, but whose walls surround the hockey imagination in all of us. What about the Hawks? They're your pick, I know. Why?
Well, I think Chicago has the depth. They've got 8 defensemen. They'll probably use them all before it's over. They can get into their 14th and 15th forward, and I don't think weaken their team too much. And Belfour's been the best goalie in the league, and I see no reason why he won't continue that in the months of April and May.
Have you a dark horse?
Well, I think there are about 4 of them. I'm not saying it's going to be easy for Chicago. L.A. has continued to defy the law of gravity with the way they've played, especially defensively. Boston's sick of going to the finals and not winning it. Edmonton knows how to win it better than anyone else, and Calgary's got a good team. So I'm taking Chicago, but there are going to be a lot of people biting at their heels.
You're nicely covered. Our thanks to Harry Neal, whom you'll, of course, hear tomorrow night when Hockey Night in Canada hits the airwaves with the Sabres and Canadians. Harry represents some 20 years of pro hockey knowledge. Here's something different.
If you came to Calgary in search of the 1991 Stanley Cup winner, the Saddledome might be a good place to start. But an even better place to find out who's going to capture the cup would be the Alberta Research Council.
Why don't we go over today's stats and see if we can narrow down what teams are going to be in the playoffs for now on our Stanley Cup prediction analysis.
The Alberta Research Council offers a wide range of scientific research and testing capabilities. In this case, a marriage of prime hockey statistical information with pattern analysis. More or less, the study of the law of averages. The ARC team entered more than 40 categories of information for each team. Offensive and defensive stats, winning percentages home and away, even the ages of players. But there's also the task of accounting for unknown factors.
The game of hockey is still one where there's a significant element of chance involved. And I don't think we can ever know at the beginning of an event, a sporting event or any other event, what the exact outcome will be. We don't know who's going to trip at what point in the game. We don't know who's going to get injured. We don't know whether somebody got out of the wrong side of bed that morning or whatever. You know, there's so many factors.
Factors such as Bobby Bond playing through the pain of a broken leg to score the Stanley Cup winning goal. But for the data which can be controlled, Lynn Sutherland, a computer shark at the Alberta Research Council, heads up the Stanley Cup Prediction Project and understands the capabilities of the computer and the advantages it has over human hockey experts.
The human can only look at a small subset of information, whereas a computer can process immense amounts of information. If I had to pick between the computer and Don Cherry in predicting the Stanley Cup playoffs, I'd go with the computer. The computer has all the data to analyze. It's totally unemotional, and it knows what's important and what isn't.
There were thousands of numbers put into the computers at the Alberta Research Council, and it's way too confusing to really get involved in it. But one intriguing stat, in the last 10 years, 100% of Stanley Cup victors finished either first or second in their division. In fact, only one team finishing worse than second in a division ever made it to the Cup final, Harry's Canucks in 1982. No room for sentimentality here, so let's get right to the Patrick final, the Penguins and Rangers, according to ARC.
It was no coincidence that once Mario Lemieux returned to the Penguins lineup, the team finished in a rush to earn its first ever division title. Mario's definitely back. The New York Rangers, meantime, could have used more goals from Darren Turcotte and their centers as they slumped, falling out of first after 147 days of leading the Patrick Pack. In areas distinctive enough to be considered good predictors, the computer likes the Rangers for the defense. They allow fewer shots, but it gives the nod offensively to the Penguins. As well, it likes Pittsburgh for winning in their own division and at home. Pittsburgh can score with anyone, led by Mark Recchi, who expects to be fully recovered from a knee injury suffered last weekend. The Rangers' main strength is in goal, where Mike Richter and John Van Beesbrook have split the load. But Badger Bob's notebook's loaded with ways to get around that, and the Penguins appear to be surging. This race was extremely close, according to the computer, but the pick is Pittsburgh.
Now, throughout the evening, our computer is looking at the playoff pairings, and as you know, it does not care for the underdog, so it's put the Blues and Blackhawks right in for the Norris Division Championship. And now let's look at which team it thinks will prevail by crunching the numbers.
In Brian Sutter, the Blues have a coach who stands behind his players. Though the Blues' fourth-ranked offense receives most of the credit, an unsung defense deserves praise as well. Honors are being heaped upon Eddie Belfour as he's taken Chicago to top spot in keeping goals out of the Blackhawks' net. The Vezina Trophy is coming. Perhaps a Stanley Cup is too. The Blackhawks count more X's on the strength of head-to-head play with St. Louis. 5 wins and a tie in 8 meetings. The Hawks don't score as often as the Blues, but they allow far fewer goals. St. Louis centerman Adam Oates is second in assists and second only to the great Gretzky in points per game average. He sets the table for Brett Hull, who scored more goals in a season than all but Gretzky. Mike Keenan's driven the Hawks from a .413 percentage 3 years ago to .662 this year. He'll rely on defenseman Chris Chelios, and the winner is... The Alberta Research Council claims the Blackhawks will beat the Blues.
As far as the computer is concerned, the Alberta Research Council has fed all the data into its banks and found what we found for the last 5 years. There's a good chance the Montreal Canadiens and Boston Bruins will get together in the Adams Division Championship. Those series, surprisingly enough, over the last 5 years haven't been close, but the computer thinks this time around it will be. Let's key the results.
There's little doubt Montreal's playoff hopes ride with Patrick Roy in goal. He's got to hold the fort while Pat Burns attempts to figure out a way to find scoring. Boston's Andy Mogus produced well in pressure situations, and 3 times he has had a hand in Montreal's playoff elimination. The Boston Bruins get X's because they dominate several key categories, including head-to-head competition, home ice success, and strength in goaltending, as well as on the power play. Danny Savard, despite the occasional brilliant effort, hasn't been the answer to unlocking Montreal's offensive arsenal. He's got to spark the attack, especially on the power play, for the Habs to survive. By contrast, the Boston Bruins have been excelling on special teams. Last year in the playoffs, they held the Canadiens to 1 power play goal in 5 games. According to the computer, the Boston Bruins should beat Montreal for the 3rd time in the last 4 postseason tries.
Now, just briefly, Jim, you say Calgary. What about the Los Angeles Kings against Vancouver and after that?
Well, I think LA will hammer Vancouver in 4, 5, 6 games at the outside. I don't think it will be a real toll on Los Angeles, and because of that and the momentum that LA has going, and the fact that Calgary and/or Edmonton will be beat up when this series is over, I give LA a slight edge in coming out of the Smythe division.
Great, thank you, Jim. He says the Kings hammer the Canucks, and then we'll face Calgary. The computers put those 2 head-to-head. Let's see what it thinks.
You know that after losses in the Smythe Finals the past 2 years, Wayne Gretzky's burning to play in May. Tom Webster guided the Kings to their first regular season crown, while second-place Calgary ranks near the top of the league thanks to the emergence of fiery Theron Fleury as a member of the 50-goal club and team leader. While Calgary had the best home ice record in the NHL, Los Angeles is better on the road, and the Flames could host no more than 3 games. LA also gets the edge for goals for and against. Always in the center of things, the Flames' attack is solid with Joe Nieuwendyk. Doug Gilmour usually heats it up come playoff time and should not be overlooked. When it comes to talent, Thomas Sandstrom has an abundance and has taken over as LA's top sniper, while Kelly Rudy still looks to deliver in his role as the player to get the Kings over the hump. Alberta Research Council data shows the Kings should make it out of their division this time.
In the last 8 years, a team from Alberta has been to the Stanley Cup final. The Flames 1 for 2 and the Oilers 5 for 6. But as you can see, according to the computer and according to Jim Poplinski, the highway to hockey's highest honor won't pass through the province in 1991.
Kachuk against Esposito. Walton and Orr up on the line. Orr corralling and at the point. Here's Orr winding up for the shot. Scores! Wicked drive by Bobby Orr. I don't think it touched anybody. If not, it's Orr's second goal.
You want to add to that?
Is he beautiful? Poetry on ice. Bobby Orr, the greatest hockey player who ever lived.
2 Stanley Cup goals, the winners in 1970 and 1972. And Don, you piloted the Bruins to Stanley Cup finals twice while with the Bruins. And the bad news is the cup is still here in Montreal.
Is that the real cup?
That's the real one. Apparently there's a rumor about 2 bowls, the top part, but this is authentic here, to be sure.
Good.
Came all the way from Calgary to be here tonight and get set for tomorrow evening. Don, let's begin with coaches. What are they going through this evening?
Well, the first place club, naturally I was the first place club 4 years in a row, and you are absolutely terrified because you've worked so hard to be in first spot. You've grinded it down. You've worked, and those fourth place clubs have floated. You know, they're in there, nothing to lose. They're going out, and you have to. You could have worked 80 games, and you have to beat this team. After you get by the first round, you're all right.
The computer says there's usually one upset in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, but those upset winners never go very far after that. Attrition, injuries. Late May, how do you feel about depth of rosters and the importance of staying healthy?
Well, at Calgary, that's how they win all the time. And if you take Calgary, and that's why I'm picking Calgary right off the bat. And
why would you do that?
I don't know why I'm doing it. If you let me, I'll tell you. Okay. First of all, you could lose Hall. If Hall's gone, St. Louis is down. If Patrick Waugh's gone, they're gone. Neely goes or Bork goes, they're gone. But Calgary, they can lose 2 or 3 guys and still come through. And that's the way I feel about that. Messier, same thing. If Edmonton loses Messier, they're down the toilet.
Let's go quickly through the divisions. The Patrick, Pittsburgh, and New Jersey. What'll happen? Who'll win?
Well, Recchi, I heard it's not going to be playing for 10 days. I'll still take Pittsburgh on that one.
Rangers against Washington.
I'll take Washington on that one. One of the upsets. I feel sorry for Roger Nielsen and the boys. They've got too many injuries, and Richter and Van Beesbrook have come up cold.
The Battle of New England, Boston, Hartford.
You almost forgot. I'll take Boston. Are you kidding? The better team. Why not?
Okay, Buffalo, Montreal, the other one.
Oh, no, I'm into one. Pat Burns is a good friend of mine, and I am going to, I don't know whether I should do this, but I'm going to pick Buffalo on this one. I just have a feeling. I don't like the way Pat Roy is playing. I think he's still injured, and Buffalo has come on late. And for once, maybe they're going to have a lousy season and a good playoff.
We'll go west in a moment, but I want to get the Alberta Research Council computer involved in this before we run out of time. 2 teams that they've targeted to go to the Stanley Cup Championship. Don't worry, there's more time coming. The Blackhawks and the Boston Bruins, and you'll want to know what Ark has to say about 91. The Stanley Cup Final features 2 of the NHL's original 6. It's been 30 years since the Blackhawks' Glenn Hall shut the door and the Hawks won the Stanley Cup, as Chicago's offensive Bobby Hull and company led the way over Detroit. In 1972, the Bruins of Orr, Esposito, and Cashman were winning their 2nd cup in 3 years, but they've been blanked since. Now Ray Bourque, a 3-time Norris Trophy winner, commands the Boston Blue Line. The broad shoulders of Cam Neely, 2-time 50-goal man, bear the load of offensive responsibilities. The Blackhawks have turned into perhaps the league's deepest team, led by Steve Larmer, who broke the 100-point barrier this year. Larmer, Chicago's golden Iron Man. And nurtured by GM coach Mike Keenan's intensity. Ark gives Chicago the nod because of its winning percentage against other divisions, its home and away winning percentage, and overall ranking, though Boston did win the season series. The Chicago Blackhawks are the computer's choice for the 1991 Stanley Cup.
I gotta hurry now. I am the guy that was on Chicago. I love Chicago. I love the way Chicago plays and the whole deal, but I think they're a little tired. I saw them against Detroit last Sunday, and I'm going to tell you, if it hadn't for Belfer, they'd be down 6-1 at the end of the 2nd. I love them. I hope they're in the final. I hope it's Chicago.
Would you bet on Minnie?
No, I wouldn't bet on Minnie. You're nuts, no way. And I hope Chicago. I was the guy that loved Chicago.
Okay, quick, Detroit, St. Louis.
I will go St. Louis on that one for obvious reasons. Better team, better team.
And Battle of Alberta?
Battle of Alberta, I'm going with Calgary. I think they've got the depth, and I think that Mikey Vernon is going to come through finally, and he's going to do a good job.
L.A., Vancouver.
Well, I'm going to take L.A. Vancouver did a good job. And I want to say one thing. Brent Hall, if you want to play with Gretzky, come with us with Team Canada. Remember, Bob Johnson and the Americans cut you last year. We'd have never done that.
Okay, so the story, according to Don Cherry, this is like comparing cherries and apples, is that the Calgary Flames should win the Stanley Cup. He's on that bandwagon and there to stay, while the Alberta Research Council computer has chosen the Chicago Blackhawks, who finished with 106 points, to prevail in a series over the Boston Bruins, the top team in the Wales Conference this year. But who's really to know? So we've thrown it through the computer. We've heard from all the experts, and as is always the case, we're left with one ultimate reality. Who's to know, but who can wait? So long for now.